The electric doors of St. Catherine's Medical Center slid open with a mechanical whisper, and the Friday night chaos of the emergency room died instantly. Conversation stopped mid-word. A doctor's pen clattered to the floor. Someone's phone slipped from their hand, screen shattering against tile that suddenly felt too quiet, too bright. And there he stood. 6'4", leather vest hanging open over a blood-soaked Harley-Davidson t-shirt, arms covered in ink, skulls, flames, a grim reaper stretching from wrist to shoulder. His graying beard was wild, matted with something dark. Dirt streaked his face. His boots left muddy prints across the sterile white floor. The patch on his back read, Iron Skulls MC in bold letters, with a skull pierced by twin pistons beneath it. But it wasn't the biker that made the room hold its breath. It was what he carried. Cradled in his massive arms like something sacred and fragile was a little black girl, maybe 6 years old. Her head lolled against his chest, braids disheveled and caked with dried blood. Her pink Disney princess dress was torn, one sleeve completely gone. Her small legs hung limp, one foot bare, the other wearing a single light-up sneaker that blinked weakly with each step he took. Blood covered them both, his hands, her clothes, spreading across his chest like a Rorschach test of violence. His voice came out rough, desperate, commanding, I need help, now. Nobody moved. I said now, he roared, and the room exploded into motion. Dr. Sarah Chen was the first to react. Former Army medic, 5 years at St. Catherine's, she'd seen worse. Not much worse, but worse. She dropped her tablet and rushed forward, hands already out. What happened? She demanded, professional instinct overriding fear. The biker's eyes, bright blue, rimmed red with exhaustion, met hers. Found her on Highway 9. Car went off the bridge into Coldwater Creek. I pulled her out before it went under. Sarah's hands were already on the girl, checking pulse, airway, breathing, weak but there. How long ago? 20 minutes? Maybe more. I drove fast. Gurney! Pediatric trauma to Bay 3, Sarah shouted. 2 nurses appeared with a stretcher. The biker laid the girl down with a gentleness that seemed impossible from hands that size, from a man that dangerous-looking. As they wheeled her away, he tried to follow. Security guard Marcus Williams stepped in front of him, not blocking exactly, but present. Sir, you'll need to wait here. The biker's jaw clenched, his fists balled at his sides. For a moment, Marcus thought there'd be trouble. Then the big man's shoulders sagged. Is she going to make it? They're doing everything they can, Marcus said, voice softer now. You did good bringing her here. The biker slumped against the wall, leaving a smear of creek water and blood on the paint. His hands were shaking. He stared at them like they belonged to someone else. Behind the trauma bay doors, organized chaos reigned. She's hypothermic. Core temp's 94, a nurse called out. Get warming blankets now, and I need a full trauma panel. Sarah's hands moved with practiced efficiency, cutting away the ruined dress, checking for injuries. Pupils reactive but sluggish. Possible head trauma. Get me a CT. The girl's chest rose and fell in shallow, irregular gasps. Her small fingers twitched. Sarah, nurse practitioner James Rodriguez pointed to the girl's wrists. Ligature marks, fresh, red and raw against her dark skin. Sarah's stomach turned. She'd seen marks like that before, not from a car accident. Call the police, she said quietly, and keep that biker right where he is. In the waiting room, Detective Lisa Morales arrived within 15 minutes, shield clipped to her belt, notepad already out. She was short, sharp-eyed, with 20 years on the force and a reputation for reading people like highway signs. The biker sat in a plastic chair that looked comically small under him. Someone had brought him water. He hadn't touched it. I'm Detective Morales. What's your name? Jackson Cole. Mr. Cole, I need you to walk me through what happened tonight. Jackson's voice was hoarse, like he'd been screaming. Maybe he had. I was riding south on Highway 9, saw tire marks, fresh, going through the guardrail, pulled over, looked down, saw a sedan halfway underwater, sinking fast. What time was this? About 10:30. And then? I climbed down. Water was freezing, moving fast from the storm runoff. I could see someone in the driver's seat. Woman didn't respond when I banged on the window. Then I saw movement in the back. The girl, Lisa wrote quickly. How'd you get her out? Smashed the rear window with a rock. Pulled her through. She wasn't breathing right, kept coughing up water. The current was pulling the car downstream. I got her to the bank, tried CPR, learned it years ago, wasn't sure I remembered right, but she started breathing again. Barely. What about the driver? Jackson's face went dark. Went back for her. By the time I got there, the car was completely under. I dove twice. Couldn't see anything in that water. Couldn't find her. His voice cracked. So I grabbed the kid and ran. My bike was up on the road. I rode. Lisa studied him carefully. The mud under his fingernails, the creek water still dripping from his beard, the raw scrapes on his knuckles from breaking glass. Mr. Cole, that little girl has restraint marks on her wrists. His head snapped up. What? Fresh ligature marks. She didn't get those from a car accident. Understanding dawned across his face, followed by rage, pure volcanic rage. That woman tied her up, put her in that car. He stood, pacing like a caged animal. I went back for her. I risked my neck for, Mr. Cole, sit down. He didn't. Jackson, Lisa's voice sharpened. Sit down. He sat, but his leg bounced with barely contained fury. I'm going to need your clothes for evidence, and I'll need you to stay here until we sort this out. Am I under arrest? No, but you're a witness, possibly the only one. She paused. You may have saved that child from something worse than drowning. Hours crawled by. The ER slowly emptied as the night shift took over. Jackson sat in the same chair, now wearing hospital scrubs 2 sizes too small. His leather vest lay in an evidence bag. Someone brought him coffee. He drank it without tasting it. Around 2 a.m., Dr. Chen emerged. She looked exhausted but steady. She's stable, Sarah said. Hypothermia, aspiration pneumonia, some bruising and lacerations. We're keeping her sedated while her lungs clear. But she's going to make it. Jackson's entire body sagged with relief. Can I see her? Sarah hesitated. Family only, usually. I'm all she's got right now. They locked eyes. Sarah saw something in his face, genuine concern, protectiveness, that made her decision easy. 5 minutes, and you'll have a nurse with you the whole time. The pediatric ICU was dimmer, quieter. Jackson followed Sarah to a room where the little girl lay surrounded by machines. She looked even smaller in the hospital bed, dwarfed by medical equipment. An oxygen mask covered half her face. Her braids had been carefully arranged on the pillow. Jackson stood in the doorway like he was afraid to enter sacred ground. Jesus, he whispered. What's her name? Sarah asked. I don't know. There wasn't time to ask. He moved closer, careful not to touch anything, stared down at the sleeping child he'd pulled from dark water. Hey, little warrior, he said softly. You hang in there, okay? You're tougher than you look. Sarah watched him, saw the way his scarred hands hovered over the bedrail, wanting to offer comfort but afraid to intrude. You did good tonight, she told him. Jackson shook his head. I should have gotten there sooner. Should have pulled that car over when I first saw it. Something felt wrong even before the crash. You saved her life. That's what matters. He didn't look convinced. By morning, the storm of bureaucracy arrived. Detective Morales returned with a partner and a file folder thick with bad news. They found Jackson in the hospital cafeteria, nursing his 4th cup of terrible coffee. We identified her, Lisa said, sitting across from him. Her name is Amara Jenkins, 6 years old. Mother reported her missing 3 days ago, said the girl's father, Deshaun Jenkins, took her during an unauthorized visit. There's a restraining order, history of domestic violence. The woman in the car. We recovered the vehicle at dawn. Jennifer Sykes, 32, Deshaun's girlfriend. Multiple priors, drug possession, child endangerment. We found zip ties in the car, duct tape, a burner phone with messages about crossing state lines. Jackson's jaw clenched so tight Sarah heard it from across the table. They were running, Lisa continued, taking Amara somewhere her mother couldn't find her. The crash might have been an accident, or Jennifer might have panicked when she saw your headlight. We may never know. Where's the father now? That's the problem. We don't know. He wasn't in the car. We're treating him as armed and dangerous. Jackson leaned forward. You think he'll come here? It's possible. If he finds out his daughter survived, he might try to finish what he started. Sarah's eyes widened. Then we need security. Already arranged, Lisa said. Uniformed officer outside her door 24/7. But Mr. Cole, she looked at Jackson. You should go home. You've done enough. Jackson stood. I'm not leaving. Sir. I pulled her out of that water. I'm not letting some piece of garbage come finish the job. His voice was steel. I'm staying. Lisa started to argue, then stopped. She'd seen that look before, immovable. Fine, but you stay out of the way of hospital staff and law enforcement. Clear? Crystal. Jackson set up camp in the ICU waiting room. Other families came and went, giving him nervous glances, whispering. He didn't care. Every hour he checked on Amara through the window, watched her breathe, made sure her chest kept rising and falling. On day 2, she woke up. Sarah was checking her vitals when Amara's eyes fluttered open, confused, scared. Her small hand grabbed at the oxygen mask. Hey, sweetie, it's okay, Sarah said gently. You're safe. You're in the hospital. My name is Dr. Chen. Where? Amara's voice was barely a whisper. Where's my mama? We're bringing her here right now, honey. She's on her way. Tears spilled down Amara's cheeks. The water, the car. I couldn't breathe. Shh, I know. But someone saved you. Someone very brave pulled you out. Who? Sarah smiled. Want to meet him? Jackson was nervous, actually nervous. He'd stared down rival gangs, spent time in lockup, ridden through storms that would terrify most men. But walking into that hospital room to meet the little girl whose life he'd saved made his palms sweat. Amara stared at him with wide eyes, took in the tattoos, the beard, the sheer size of him. Then she said, You're the one who got me out. He nodded, not trusting his voice. I remember your voice, in the water. You said, I got you, baby girl, I got you. Jackson's throat tightened. Yeah, I said that. Thank you. 2 simple words that hit him like a freight train. He had to look away, blinked hard. You're welcome, warrior. By evening, Amara's mother arrived. Keisha Jenkins rushed into the room like a hurricane, sobbing, gathering her daughter into her arms with a gentleness that belied her panic. Baby, oh my baby, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Mama, you're squishing me, Amara said, but she was smiling. Keisha turned to find Jackson standing awkwardly near the door. For a moment, they just looked at each other, this exhausted mother and the biker who'd saved her child. Then, Keisha crossed the room and wrapped her arms around him. Jackson froze. He wasn't a hugger, didn't do emotions. But this woman was shaking, crying into his chest, and he found his arms coming up, patting her back awkwardly. Thank you, she sobbed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ma'am, it's okay. It's not okay. She's everything. She's my whole world, and you brought her back to me. Keisha pulled away, wiping her eyes. How can I ever repay you? Jackson shook his head. You can't. You don't need to. Just keep her safe. On day 3, Deshaun Jenkins made his move. The call came through police dispatch at 2 a.m. A man matching Deshaun's description had been spotted at a gas station 12 miles from the hospital, asking about accident victims. Lisa Morales doubled security, put plainclothes officers in the waiting room, warned hospital staff to be vigilant. Jackson was awake when she arrived. He'd barely slept in 3 days. He's coming, Lisa said simply. I know. Jackson stood, rolling his shoulders. What's the plan? The plan is you stay out of it and let us handle this. Jackson's laugh was bitter. Right, because you've done such a great job keeping kids safe from him so far. Lisa's jaw tightened. Mr. Cole, I'm not trying to be a hero, detective, but I'm not sitting in a waiting room while that scumbag comes for her. You're not a cop. You have no authority here. Then arrest me, but I'm not leaving this floor. They stared at each other. Finally, Lisa sighed. If you interfere with police operations, I will arrest you. Understood? Understood. Deshaun came at 4 a.m. when the hospital was at its quietest. He'd stolen scrubs from a laundromat, wore a surgical mask, carried a clipboard, walked right past the security desk. The uniformed officer outside Amara's door stopped him. Sir, this is a restricted area. I'm with maintenance, got a report of a gas leak on this floor. I wasn't notified. Deshaun moved fast, pulled a knife from under the clipboard, lunged forward. The officer stumbled back, reaching for his radio. Jackson appeared from around the corner like a freight train. He hit Deshaun at full speed, driving him into the wall. The knife clattered to the floor. Deshaun tried to fight, but Jackson had 80 pounds on him and 30 years of bar brawls behind every punch. You like hurting little kids? Jackson growled, pinning Deshaun against the wall by his throat. Let's see how you like someone your own size. I can't breathe. Good. Mr. Cole. Lisa's voice cut through his rage. Step back, now. Jackson held for one more second, letting Deshawn see his face, remember it. Then he released him. Deshawn crumpled to the floor. 3 officers were on him in seconds, cuffing him, reading his rights. Lisa grabbed Jackson's arm. I told you not to interfere. He had a knife, I saw it first, reacted. That's all. She wanted to argue, but the hallway security footage would show Jackson was right. And honestly, she was glad he'd been there. Go check on the girl, Lisa said finally. Make sure she didn't hear anything. Inside the room, Keisha had her arms around Amara, who was wide-eyed but calm. When Jackson appeared in the doorway, Amara smiled. Did you get the bad man? Jackson knelt by her bedside. Yeah, Warrior. We got him. He's not going to bother you anymore. Is he going to jail? For a very long time. Amara thought about this. Then she reached out and took Jackson's scarred hand in her small one. Will you come visit me sometimes? Jackson's voice caught. If your mama says it's okay. Keisha smiled through tears, doors always open. 3 weeks later, Jackson Cole walked into St. Catherine's wearing clean jeans and a button-up shirt that felt foreign on his frame. His beard was trimmed, his hair pulled back. He felt ridiculous. Amara was in the pediatric recovery ward, scheduled to go home the next day. When she saw him, she squealed. Jackson! He grinned. Hey, Warrior, heard you're busting out of this place. Tomorrow, Mama's making my favorite, mac and cheese and chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs. Sounds like a feast. They talked for an hour, about school, about her friends, about the goldfish she'd named Mr. Bubbles who kept hiding in the castle. Normal kid stuff, beautiful, ordinary kid stuff. When it was time to leave, Amara hugged him tight. You're my hero, she whispered. Jackson shook his head. No, baby girl. You're the hero. You survived. You're still here. That's all you. Outside in the parking lot, Sarah Chen caught up with him. You clean up nice, she teased. He smiled. Didn't want to scare the other kids. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Sarah asked, What now? Now? Now I go back to my life, the club, the road. That's it? Jackson looked back at the hospital, up toward the window where a little girl with bright eyes and braids was probably already asleep, dreaming of dinosaur nuggets and going home. No, he said quietly. That's not it. That'll never be it again. Because something had changed that night in the creek. When he'd pulled Amara from dark water, felt her small body gasping for air against his chest, carried her to safety, something in him had shifted, rewired. He had spent years being the person people crossed the street to avoid. And now? Now he was someone a little girl called her hero. Jackson Cole climbed onto his Harley, the engine rumbling to life beneath him. As he rode out into the early evening, the sunset painting the sky in shades of amber and violet, he carried with him the weight of new purpose. Sometimes heroes don't look the part. Sometimes they wear leather and ink and ride into the darkness on 2 wheels. Sometimes they pull you from drowning waters and carry you to safety on nothing but instinct and heart. And sometimes, in saving someone else, they save themselves. Behind him, in a hospital room on the 4th floor, a little girl slept peacefully, dreaming of the man with gentle hands and a fierce heart who'd refused to let her go. Her hero, her guardian angel, her friend. And that, Jackson thought as the wind rushed past him and the road stretched endlessly ahead, was worth more than every mile he'd ever ridden.